Hi guys, how's it going? My name is David Neyts and welcome to my channel. Today's topic is how to write your first script. In this day and age of social media, I feel like everyone and everybody is actually writing scripts, which is a cool thing, but at the same time, well, it's kind of daunting because if you want to get into it, well, you have a lot of competition. At the same time, Hollywood is actually doing a lot of movies that are coming out at the movie theater too, but they are not really being very successful at it in some way because they're just rehashing a lot of old ideas or making a lot of sequels, and they're taking the safe route with all these Hollywood blockbuster films. Luckily, we do have other mediums, which are usually the streaming platforms such as Hulu, Amazon, Netflix, HBO, all those big ones that do a lot of series that are actually, taking more risks and that are more story based and that are catered to the fact that they want the story to be driven and to go on for many, many episodes and hopefully many seasons if the series is successful. As for me, I have found that there are a couple of different tips that have really, really helped me to get started. Tip number one. Are you writing for the theater, for a series? Are you writing for a film? If it is your first time writing something, I would say don't try to go for a 90-page to 120-page feature script because that's just going to be too difficult. It's going to be much easier if you get to write something within 1, 2, or 3 days because then you're going to have this sense of accomplishment that you have completed something, especially as a beginner writer. You don't want to start something and then not complete it because then it's going to just give you a bitter taste in your mouth because, well, you want to feel accomplished. Tip number two, write about what you know and what you're interested in because, well, let's face it, if you write about what you know, well, it's just going to be easier to put it on the page. And also, if you're going to write something that interests you or something that you'd like to research, well, you're going to have fun researching it. The first scripts that I started writing were martial arts oriented because that's what I know. And at the same time, I figured that if I was going to shoot them, I'd be able to do some fancy choreographies and entertain people that way because let's face it, when you're first writing scripts and stuff like that, well, the story might not be the best. And at least I figured that if I'd be able to entertain people with some fancy moves and a few little kicks here and there, it would at least entertain them enough. It's kind of like those blockbuster films that you see. Well, they put a lot of explosions, a lot of special effects, and by doing so, they don't have to be focused so much on the story. Tip number three, find your process on how to write the story. Every scene is going to have a beginning, middle, and end. So what I do is usually, if I'm writing that, is on a piece of paper, even before I start writing the script, I write down bullet points, scene by scene. That's called the script outline. And by basically writing that either on a paper or on a board, you're going to be able to see the script from beginning to end just by looking at the names of each scene. And you're going to be able to make a story out of it. And especially if you actually put it in front of your face, in front of you, you're going to be able to look at the story. And if one scene doesn't make sense or another scene makes more sense at another time of the story, then you're going to be able to interchange those. That's why it's very important that even before you start writing it, you actually have that step outline. It's kind of like looking at a skeleton script, where basically you know where all the scenes are heading to, how the beginning of the story is, how it ends, and how everything is in between. That's going to give you a good basis of how the script is going to look even before you even start writing it. Tip number four, once you've written the whole script, have people read it. Maybe you know some other writers, or maybe you know some friends that would enjoy reading what you've written, and let them give you some notes about what you just wrote. Another way of actually getting some tips or feedback is to create an event, maybe at your house. Get a couple of your friends, if you have some actor friends or just friends in general, to come to your house and maybe read your whole script, because if they read it in front of you, if you actually have a human being that is reading the pages that you wrote, well, now that human being that you wrote on paper is actually coming to life, and you're going to see that some things work more than other things, and you're going to be able to correct yourself, and at the same time you're going to be able to get some feedback. And that's why sometimes when you are starting the whole writing thing, it is important to actually take a class, because when you do take a class, well, the teacher is going to probably get some other people in that class to read your whole script in front of the class. And that's important because, once again, when you see people reading it in front of you, you're going to actually see flaws that you would not have caught if you read it to yourself. Once you have some experience, well, you can break it down. You can just break all the rules and do your own thing. So really the thing is, just have fun with it. Just write, do your thing, enjoy it, do it as much as you can. It's kind of like that whole 10,000 hour rule. If you don't put in the work, well, you're not going to be able to become a good writer without doing it. Okay, that's it. That's all I have to say on the subject. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe, hit the like button, leave a comment, and see you next time. Bye.